What a Catch, Part 24, a Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction. If you have not heard the previous 23 parts of this story, you can find a link to them in the description box below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up in support of more fanfiction. Marinette felt the guilt tear across her gut as she realized what time it was. How long had she been asleep? 7 hours?
Are you going to check if he's still there?
Tiki asked, watching her scramble around the room. There's no way Adrien would still be waiting, Marinette sighed, sitting back down on her bed and feeling like a failure. She knew how much this meant to him. How dare she stand him up? It was supposed to be a quick 1-hour nap.
But Cat Noir would be.
Tiki was right. Cat Noir would wait for Ladybug, no matter how long or what the weather was like. Well then, she whispered, we'd best get going, don't you think? Her phone started to buzz violently, alerting her of a call and nearly vibrating itself off the desk. She ran to grab it before it hit the floor and answered it without checking who was calling. Hello? Hey! It was Cat Noir. She could recognize her partner's voice anywhere. She quickly checked the number and realized that, actually, it wasn't him. Not entirely. Adrien was calling her from his phone, not the cat phone that he used with the mask. It's pretty late. What's going on? She asked. Had he figured it out? Go out on your balcony. What? Why? Please. There was no way he didn't know. Cat Noir was a huge romantic, and a balcony scene would be right up his alley. She ran to her mirror to fix her bangs, face flushed and showing signs of worry. This was it. It's happening. She clambered up the ladder, unable to tell what he thought simply from his voice. Down here! She heard him call. Sure enough, Adrien was standing in the middle of the street, waving up at her. To her surprise, he wasn't wearing his Cat Noir suit. Maybe he didn't know? Adrien! Marinette yelled, leaning over the edge of the balcony. What are you doing down there? Can I come up? Yeah. Let me go downstairs and unlock the door. No need. She watched as he started to climb over one of the street poles and jumped to the bakery sign. From there, he swung his feet over and hoisted himself up with 2 more floors to climb. Adrien! She exclaimed, a lecturing tone in her voice. Don't worry, Marinette. Parkour is life. He grinned, finding a foothold on the window's ledge and pulling himself up another floor. You'll break something if you fall. Then I just won't fall. It's that simple. She sighed as he pulled himself up to the balcony, not even out of breath. How had she not seen their similarities when they were teenagers? Silly kitty, she murmured. What was that? He asked, straightening his now disheveled clothing. Nothing. I'm just rolling my eyes at your youth. There's no way I would have done that when we were teenagers. Can you imagine if my father found out? I'd never go back to school. So you're saying that, unlike most adults, you grew into your punk days. I've always looked good in leather, he winked, sliding himself off of the railing onto the solid balcony floor. She began to laugh, not because the irony was funny, but because she no longer had any idea what was going through her partner's head. Did he know? Was he chasing a feeling? Was she not even a possibility when it came to Ladybug's identity? So what are you doing here? Discovering your new career in acrobats? I'm just feeling a little lost. Lost? I've been spending a lot of time thinking about where home is. You know? Marinette couldn't respond. She was 26 and still living with her parents, although it was a recent and temporary accommodation. But it was nice to come back to where she was loved every day. What are you going to do when you find it? It? Home. Spend the rest of my time with her. So you admit that home is a person? What? Her. You referred to a girl. Oh, I guess I did, huh? So who is this mystery girl? I don't know. If it was that easy, wouldn't I be with her right now? Marinette pursed her lips. The situational irony was a little too much for her. I suppose, she whispered. And it depends on what kind of home we're talking about. Natalie feels like home, in a way, but so does your mother. I'm not following, she said, tilting her head to the side as she looked up at him in confusion. Natalie practically raised me when I was a teenager, you know? But your parents were always there when I needed a warm, safe space to retreat to. You did spend a bit of time over here with Alia and Nino when we were in high school, she nodded. Yeah, it was nice. I mean, not just your parents, but you as well. Me? Marinette straightened her posture in surprise. What did that mean? Did he care for her, even if she wasn't Ladybug? Do you remember what you said about soulmates and timing? I do. If I had asked you out back then, would you have said yes? Adrien turned to her, cupping her face in his hands, and, with a flash of heat, Marinette remembered that she had almost kissed him the night before. Yes, she whispered, locking her eyes with him, locking her eyes with his. He smiled and let go, brushing away the loose strands that the wind had whipped across her face. Timing is a funny thing, don't you think? Here we are, more than a decade later, but our potential has passed us. Our potential? To date! Marinette felt her breath catch in her throat as her teenage emotions consumed her. How would her teenage self respond to that? All of a sudden, Marinette was empty. She didn't want her relationship with Adrien to be, we used to be great friends in high school. She wanted something more. She wanted him. No, she said sternly, reaching up to turn his head back to her. It hasn't. Adrien furrowed his eyebrows as she drew her face to his. Marinette, what? He began, cut off by her lips. Marinette wrapped her fingers in the ringlets of his hair as she closed her eyes, her conscience screaming that she shouldn't be doing this while her instincts told her it was right. It was so right. She heard his breath catch as his arm stiffened in surprise. How would he respond? Was he going to kiss her back? Despite her age, Marinette forgot how to breathe as she stood there kissing Adrien aghast. It lasted longer than she expected. His first instinct wasn't to push her away, but she wasn't confident enough to pop her leg up. What consequences were on the horizon? Thank you so much for listening. Part 25 will be available shortly. In the meantime, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more fan fiction. I'll catch you next time.